How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 training mistakes you could be making as a skinny guy with a fast metabolism. Really, this could apply to anyone who's a gym newbie, who's skinny, who's trying to bulk up in weight and muscle, someone who's cutting. Doesn't matter who you are, this could definitely benefit you if you're looking to know how to train in the correct efficient way. So definitely avoid these top 5 mistakes. But let's get right into it for today. The very first thing is ego lifting. This is a big one. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about. So basically, what ego lifting is this is when you lift a weight that you have no business in lifting. So, for example, if you lift 135 on bench for 8 reps, 2 sets, perfectly fine with really good form, and then the next week you decide that you want to lift 25 more pounds onto that 135, and then you can only get out or squeeze out 3 reps, and then you try to go for more, but then your form just starts to get shot and destroyed. That's ego lifting, right? You definitely don't want to be doing that because you risk yourself getting injured. You look like a fool as well. Like, no one's going to think you look cool because of this. And most people who do tend to ego lift, they do it for very selfish reasons. It's mainly just to fuel their own self-esteem because they think they're lifting a relatively heavy weight and they look good when doing so to impress other people, themselves, etc., etc. But in reality, you're just gonna get hurt in the process, and you'll probably end up setting yourself behind in terms of progress because you end up getting injured in the process. And that's why you see a lot of these guys who lift such heavy weight on deadlifts and then they end up breaking their back or get herniated discs because they're lifting a relatively insane amount of weight, not relatively insane, an insane amount of weight that they should not be lifting in the first place. And that's why they have that hunched over back when they're deadlifting, trying to get it up, but they sort of shake, some of them throw up or whatever the case is, right? But you get the point that I'm saying here. Do not ego lift. Do not get hurt. It's just going to cost you gains, and it's going to cost you a lot of time as well in your progress of getting fit. So moving on though, the next point is going through the motions. So specifically just going through the motions of the exercise. So for example, on bicep curl, let's just say you pick maybe like a heavy weight or a lightweight, whatever it is, doesn't matter what kind of weight that you have. The point is that you have the mentality in terms of you're wanting to lift the weight from point A to point B, and that's all that matters. So that's when you end up just doing this, and that's it. So you basically have zero control of the exercise throughout the movement. Sometimes maybe you've seen this, but I know I've seen this before. I've seen gym bros who pick up heavy weights, especially for hammer curls, maybe like 45, 55 pounds, and they just like swing it up and down, right? They're using their body to get the weight up. And that's not what you're supposed to be doing, right? All the movement should be coming from the muscle that you're working and trying to activate. So, long story short, there is no intention behind each rep that you do. There is no mission behind the exercises that you're doing. There's no purpose behind it. Next slide is a lack of intensity. This is a big one, and it really coincides with the last slide as well. Just going through the motions of the exercises. If you have a lack of intensity, it also means that you're just kind of like nonchalant about your training, not really taking it seriously, and it's kind of like a second or afterthought for you. So this is when you train till mild discomfort, though. So as soon as you feel the first burning sensation come through, that's when you stop, right? As soon as it comes through, you stop. You don't want any more of it, and that's that. So you just want to complete your sets and reps regardless of effort, and your only purpose is just to get in and out of the gym. And maybe you just spend more time on your phone than you do focus on your sets. But you want to have a lack, or you want to have intensity inside each of the movements that you do inside of the gym, because that's really what's going to take you far. And honestly, the only way you're going to grow and see progress inside of the gym is if you make an effort to exert yourself, right? Or else, how else are you going to grow? You likely won't, unless you're taking gear, and that's a different story. Next slide though, short rest times. So this is when you rest for 60 to 90 seconds in between sets. Listen, you guys do you. If you're able to recover really well within that time frame of 60 to 90 seconds, then go for it. But what I usually recommend, and at least what's worked well for me, is a rest time to 3 to 5 minutes. Because if you're training till true muscular failure, or if you're training with high intensity, then you're going to need a lot more rest time than just 60 to 90 seconds in between rest. Because imagine this. Imagine if you do one set of bicep curls, do it for 8 reps. Maybe you do some two partials at the end there, and then you rest for 60 seconds, and then you can only do 3 reps, 1 partial on the second set, right? Opposed to resting for 3 to 5 minutes, and then on the second set, you get 7 reps with 2 partials. Imagine that, right? More rest time equals more rest for your muscles, so that way you can carry the same intensity that you did on the first set and take it to the second set. So that's why having adequate rest time is so important. As I mentioned, typically those with low rest times, they train with really little intensity. And as I mentioned already, if you do train with intensity, you're not going to be able to carry the same intensity that you did onto your next sets. So basically, you're not putting full maximum effort inside each single rep when you have short rest times. So get your rest. It's important. And then last but not least, we have no progressive overload. So basically what progressive overload is when you increase the weight week by week when you're inside the gym. So long as you complete last week's weight successfully with perfect technique and there's no cheating at all whatsoever. So this includes ego lifting, swinging the weights around, etc., etc. So if you're not progressive overloading, basically you're just not increasing the weight at all whatsoever in the exercise that you're doing. You're comfortable with doing the weight that you're on, and you likely think that doing high reps is more than enough. And don't get me wrong, doing high reps or increasing the reps is a form of progressive overload, but in my opinion, it's not enough. You want to increase the workload that you're doing as well, or just the weight, you want to be increasing it as well, so this way you can really get the best bang for your buck. Because when you increase the weight, your muscle is going to have to exert itself even more, and that means it's going to get stronger, it's going to grow even more, all that kind of different stuff. So definitely start increasing the weight, not by a huge margin, but by a short margin, anywhere between 2.5 pounds to 5 pounds, because that's more than enough that you're able to handle, where your technique does not need to be sacrificed because you added on a shitload of weight onto the bar or onto the dumbbell, or you just increase the dumbbell weight dramatically. So maybe you're scared of increasing the weight. I think you shouldn't be scared. Even if you are scared, that means it's a good thing, right? Because if you have some emotions or some nerves involved, that means you care about your training, you care about what you're doing, and in some way, being nervous or scared is a form of excitement, right? Because you're excited about pushing your body to the limits and seeing what it's truly capable of. And then you'll find when you get through it and you survived, you realize that it's not so bad, and you kind of look forward to the next workout. So if you're not progressive overloading, you won't get stronger, and you will see very little gains made. You won't see any gains made, but you'll just see very little gains made. Opposed to if you did progressive overload, that's when you'll see some really good gains made, as long as your eating and your rest and recovery is on point. So make sure to progressive overload. And apart from that, I think it makes training all the more fun, right? Like, it just gives you something to look forward to. It's a challenge in terms of pushing your body, in terms of exerting yourself to your limits and seeing what you're capable of. So definitely include progressive overload into your training. You guys won't regret it. I think it's something that's going to greatly improve your training over time, so long as you're being consistent, you're being patient, and as I mentioned already, your eating and rest and recovery are in check. But that covers it for the video today, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it today. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions. And if you're a skinny guy with high metabolism who's looking for a more personalized approach when it comes to coaching, so that way you get to avoid the trial and error process of figuring all this fitness stuff out on your own, then please be sure to visit the calendar link in the description below. So that's where you find a good time to speak with me and to see if coaching is a fit for you. But until the next video, guys, take care. And please let me know how else I can best help you and support you out in your weightlifting journey. Take care. Peace.